Everyone talks about your 20s and how super important it is, but no one ever talks about how to make the right decisions in your 20s. And so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 5 things that I think you should invest in your 20s, so stay tuned. One of the things to invest in is knowledge. Reason being, the world is super dynamic and there are new things happening every day. In order for you to take advantage of these opportunities, you need to A, have an awareness of the opportunities that exist, and B, you need to have an understanding of these opportunities so you can leverage them as best as possible. And that's where knowledge comes in. And the return of applying your knowledge will always be more than the initial cost of the knowledge. And I'll give practical examples. Say you paid £100 for a course learning how to code, and then you built an app and the app was acquired by another company, or the app had paid features that meant you were able to live off on it. The return of that income stream outweighs the initial cost of your coding class. There's different ways in which you can acquire knowledge. You can go to courses, pay for workshops, speak to people in the field or area that you're interested in, listen to podcasts, use YouTube, sign up to newsletters, read a book, the nice old-fashioned way. Before we get into our next point, please, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to like it. If you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe. And let's get back into the video. The second thing is asset classes. If you're a young person in your 20s, as tempting as it may be to buy a new flashy car and be the it girl or the it guy, don't do it. There are other vehicles in which you can invest your money in, no pun intended. And these vehicles are called assets. And asset classes are basically things that can make you more money in the future. An example of asset classes include stocks, bonds, property, art, crypto. And the reason why there's a lot of talk on investing in asset classes as young as you can is because you benefit from a concept known as compounding. And simply put, compounding is basically when you earn interest on top of your interest. And it's a method that people have used over the years to become millionaires. In order for compounding to make sense, I'm going to run us through an example. Say you've saved up £100 and you get 10% in interest back every year. Well, in the first year, you'll get 10% of £100, which is £10. And so at the end of year 1, you will have £110. But you haven't touched that money and you're still allowing it to invest and grow. So at the beginning of year 2, you'll now have £110, but we're still getting a 10% interest on top of that. So 10% of £110 is £11. And if we add £11 to £110, we end up with £121. So at the end of year 2, you have £121. Now, it may not sound like a lot initially when you do it like I've done, but I'll insert a picture of different examples in which compounding has led to crazy amounts of money over a long period of time. And if you do use property as your asset class, then according to research that was done a couple of years ago in Britain, across 27 local authorities, it was found that the value of properties doubled every 14 years. And this was after the 2008 financial crisis. The next thing to investing is community. Reason being, the people around you will either push you towards your goal or pull you away from it. And I remember listening to a video by Miles Monroe, and he likened friendship to the idea of a destination. And he said that in a friendship, you're basically going to a destination. So what destination are the people around you taking you to? Are they inspiring you? Are they pushing you? Are they causing you to think bigger about whatever your dreams are? Or are they telling you that actually you're dreaming too big, or they're not supporting you despite not understanding what your goals are? So I would definitely recommend reevaluating your community setting. I'm not saying you should cut your friends off, but it's important to be mindful of the influence the people around us have on the decisions that we make. And it's so important that I add here that it's not just about taking from people, but it's contributing to your friendships, contributing to your community as well, just because there will be something in your experience so far that someone else can benefit from as they progress through their journey. And these communities can form naturally through sharing common interests with people, but you can also find communities by signing on to exclusive club memberships. The fourth thing that I'll say is invest in yourself. And I'm going to break this down into 3 areas. The first is do new things. Discover who you are. Discover what you like, what you dislike, what makes you tick. In actually knowing this, it means that later down in life, you can take on opportunities that make sense to you. But if you haven't taken time to date yourself, or if you haven't taken time to discover who you are, you may not know what opportunities suit you best. The second thing is don't stay in something that you don't like too long. Now, I'm not saying quit your job. That isn't what I'm saying. But if you don't like your job, as an example, then upskill. Try to do other things at work that can add on to your role or help you pivot into a role that you know that you will like, but make sure that you're moving. And the best thing about being in your 20s is you can actually afford to take risk. At this stage of life, you tend to have low commitments, and that could be financially, it could be responsibility wise. And on top of that, you tend to have time on your side. So if you do really mess things up, you have time to recover and to start from scratch and build again. And the last thing that I'll say is never stop trying to be inspired. If you need to travel, meet new people, learn about a different culture, learn about a different area of life, then do it, because it helps to make you a well-rounded individual and it helps you to connect with people. And at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, everything that we do is based on our connection with another person. And so the more cultures, the more things you know, the better you'll be at relating with another individual. And the last thing is your health. Invest in your health. There's this notion that young people shouldn't care about their health because they don't get sick. Now, if young people didn't get sick, then pediatrics wouldn't be a specialty in medicine, but it is. And what people fail to realise is where you are now is a compound of all of the decisions that you've made up until this point. So if you start life just not caring about your health, not caring about your well-being, then chances are you'll develop this habit and it'll become a part of you. And so later down in life, you just won't care about your health. And that can result in you not having the best quality of life that you could have if you had started caring about your health a little bit earlier. And so if you can exercise, even if it's 30 minutes a day, then do that. If it means socializing to help manage and keep your well-being and mental health in check, then do that. If you need to sleep, make sure you're sleeping the number of hours needed in order for your body to reset itself and so that you feel energized in the morning. Because at the end of the day, health is important. We can have as much money as we want, we can have all of the clothes and the cars that we want, but if we don't have health, we don't have anything. And on that note, that is the end of this video. So if you enjoyed that, please make sure you like it. Apparently it helps with the algorithm. And I will see you in my next video. And if there's anything that I haven't touched on today that you think is important to invest in your 20s, then drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Take care, Dr. Uyiosa.